I've had massive problems with in-ear headphones for a long time when I go running, as they usually keep falling out of my ears at the most inconvenient times. So I've been wondering for a while if there wasn't a better solution for when I'm doing sports. Shokz has recently launched their new Openfit Air and Openswim Pro, and they asked if I wanted to check them out. And especially the Openfit Air could very well become my regular running headphones from now on. But let's find out. Disclaimer, I'm not being paid by Shokz, they just sent me the headphones so I can check them out. What irritates me the most when I run is undoubtedly that in-ear headphones fall out of my ears, especially AirPods, which have had a terrible tendency to fall out of my ears. I've tried a lot of other in-ear headphones, and the ones that have come closest to perfect have undoubtedly been Denon's Pearl Pro. But even those headphones haven't been the perfect fit for my needs. They don't fall out of my ears, but after about half an hour to an hour, they start to hurt inside my ear. And that's just not great. So they're close, but not perfect. Shokz Openfit Air has a design that is very different from the earbuds you usually see, because they are not inserted into the ear canal, but instead around the ear. In addition, the actual earpiece does not go into the ear, but instead sits over the ear canal. So you won't get pain inside your ear, and it also protects your hearing a lot, which can be incredibly nice if you run a lot. They're designed with open ear functionality, so you can hear your surroundings relatively clearly and distinctly. This is definitely what I prefer when I'm doing sports, especially when running in the city, as it's nice to be aware of your surroundings. So it's quite nice to be aware of any bicycles or cars that are close to you. I really like that. The earbuds have 28 hours of battery life in the charging case. Outside the case you have 6 hours per ear, and so far I haven't charged them by plugging a cable in the case, and I've been running 5 kilometer runs and 1 10-kilometer run, watched some movies and series for a total of 6 to 7 hours, so the battery life is very acceptable in my opinion, especially since you just put them back in the case when you're done using them. As I said, I haven't charged them yet, but it should only take about 1 hour to fully charge them, and in about 10 minutes you should get 2 hours of battery life. So if you've forgotten to charge them, you can relatively quickly get a little bit of power, which is always nice. The sound that comes from the headphones seems to be very well balanced. Neither too much bass nor too much treble. The sound is never extremely loud, even at maximum volume. I think this is because there is nothing sitting directly in the eardrum, so that's quite nice. If you're out doing sports and it's very windy, it is a bit difficult to get the sound through clearly. But it doesn't disappear completely, you can still hear the sound. This is of course the disadvantage of a pair of open ear headphones, but that's to be expected. They also have multi-point pairing, so you can connect more than one device at a time. You just have to enable it in the app. These are probably some of the most comfortable headphones I've ever tried. However, the first time I went running with them on, I had put them on a little bit wrong, and it resulted in me starting to get a bit of pain behind my ear. But after I adjusted them a bit, I think I could easily run a marathon without problems. Except for the fact that my fitness level is not quite there to run that far, but that's beside the point. Now let's take a look at Openswim Pro. Future Niklas here. The Openfit Air doesn't have any physical buttons, so they're controlled through touch on the sides right here. Oh, and if you don't like how they sound, you can just choose another EQ within the settings. There's 4 presets. And by the way, you can also change the controls within the app. Yes, that was all. Back to it. I have to be honest, I had a hard time seeing who would use a pair of headphones when swimming, but that was because I was thinking as an ordinary consumer, and that's probably not entirely what they are designed for, but probably the opposite for like professionals who can spend many hours in the pool. This pair of headphones from Shokz is much more advanced than I initially assumed, because the name Openswim can be a bit confusing, as they are certainly not only made for swimming activities, but can also be used for many other sports. They use bone conduction technology, so they do not function like other more classic headphones where they're inserted into the ear. Instead, they sit in front of the ears. So if you're very bothered by putting something in your ears, this pair will be perfect for you. What makes them special is that you can add MP3 tracks directly to them, which means you can take them on the go without needing internet access or another device like a smartwatch or a smartphone. So this is really great. They have 32 gigabytes of internal storage, so you can add a lot of music. The way I've usually used headphones in the recent years have been by connecting them to my watch, which could then download songs, but that is not necessary with these headphones. You can still use Bluetooth if you prefer. It is probably also the smartest method to use them for daily use, as it is a bit easier to control exactly what you want to hear and how you want to hear it. The headphones are IP68 rated, so you can take them down to 2 meters of depth for about 2 hours without any problems. You can probably take them down deeper and for a longer period, but I think this is just so Shokz is safe if you get them damaged by going further down or for a longer period. I'm quite sure that this is why they've written it this way. Just like with the Openfit Air, I wouldn't be afraid of these earbuds falling off at any time, because they have a really good weight to them and they stick to the head like glue. However, I'm not a big fan of not being able to adjust the actual cord or whatever you want to call it. It would have been very nice if you could adapt it better to your head, but those are small details, like just some sort of retraction method or something. That would have been nice. The sound quality is much better than I expected from a pair of headphones that you don't put in your ears. Calls are actually surprisingly clear with them on, as the sound goes through relatively clearly and you don't have big problems hearing what is being said. So I'm actually very positively surprised here. I had thought you couldn't hear a thing because there was no seal to the ears, but it turns out not to be a big problem, which is great. In windy weather conditions, it can be a bit difficult to hear what is being said, but that makes a lot of sense, as it is never really easy with any form of earbuds. Interestingly enough, the battery life is 9 hours in Bluetooth mode and only 6 hours in the built-in MP3 mode. You don't really have a charging case for them as you do with the Openfit Air, but with 10 minutes of charging you get about 3 hours of battery life, so it doesn't take long to charge them completely. So if you're going to do an Ironman, it would probably be a good idea to have an extra set of headphones with you. But for most people, there won't be any major problems, as not many do sports for more than 6 hours at a time. Or at least I don't think so. Just like the Openfit Air, these also have multi-point pairing, so you can pair them with more than one device at a time via Bluetooth. This can be smart if, for example, you use them connected to your phone for calls, etc. But you also want to use them for working on your computer. Just an example. Through the app you can also control a little bit EQ, update the software, switch between different modes, adjust how they are controlled, and a few other things. Most people will most likely use the MP3 function so that you don't have to have them connected to all kinds of other devices when you're doing sports. But I've just found that since I already have an Apple Watch Ultra, it suited me best to just connect them to that when I went running, as I really like having features like changing songs and different albums easily accessible, which I can easily do on my Apple Watch. Future Niklas here again. I simply forgot it, but the Openswim Pro has 3 physical buttons. A volume up and down, which also acts as a fast way to switch between Bluetooth and the MP3 mode. As well as the plus sign is also the power on or off button when you hold it down. Then it has a button on the side which functions as the voice assistant by default. But all the buttons can be controlled within the app. That was all. Now back to the video. There's no doubt that these headphones are designed for active people, but I will say that they have some features that I think many people will greatly appreciate, even people who are not super sporty. Basically, the fact that they don't go into your ear can make people who are very concerned about not damaging their eardrums and people who are bothered by having something in their ears very happy. Personally, there's no doubt that if I knew that I had to listen to the radio, music, etc. daily, I would undoubtedly choose one of these 2 pairs, because then I would also be bothered by in-ear headphones. I especially think the Openfit Air are a nice pair of headphones to have on. I wouldn't mind wearing the Openswim Pro daily either. The only thing that annoys me a bit is that if you turn the volume up too high, they vibrate quite a lot and it starts to tickle a bit. But it is certainly just because my ear canal is a bit sensitive. If you're very concerned about blocking out the world, then these headphones are not for you at all, because you don't have any noise cancellation options. It is that simple. In my opinion, however, both pairs are extremely good for sports in general. So I would almost exclusively say that they should be used while doing sports. I will certainly use them for sports in the future, as it has really bothered me that other in-ear headphones fall out. So just that factor makes me prefer these Shokz earbuds over all others on the market. For daily use such as listening to music, vacuuming, etc., I would probably prefer other in-ear headphones such as Denon Pro, simply because they have noise cancellation and a slightly better sound experience. But there's no doubt that both Shokz Openfit Air and Shokz Openswim Pro are the ultimate sport headphones. It is undoubtedly the best experience with in-ear headphones I've ever had out on the roads. If this video has helped you choose your next pair of in-ear headphones, I would greatly appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And then I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.